My peoples. Bam! My peoples. Welcome to another episode of Boxing for Breakfast, where you get your healthy dosage of sweet science early in the morning. We talking boxing, my peoples. Y'all know how we do it. First of all, good morning, everyone. It's Thursday. Toy Mafia in the building. Sai in the building. Libra 809 in the building. Boxing Junkies, salute my brother. Listen, my peoples. Remember, I'll kick this thing off by saying, remember that Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul is going down on Friday. Not the usual Saturday fight that we get. Make sure you don't miss it because you thought it was going to be Saturday. It's tomorrow that they're going to fight. And the latest one in this saga, Deontay Wilder says that he thinks that this is scripted. Because, you know, the difference in size, the fact that Jake Paul has never fought in this type of situation, think it's scripted. Well, because of that, apparently Jake Paul says, I'm going to sue you. I'm sending him an email, cease and desist, and I'm suing you. Well, I'm telling you right now, if he is going to sue, and if he does sue, he's taking the L. He's not going to win that lawsuit. You can't sue somebody for thinking that your fights are scripted. That lawsuit is a no-go. It might even get dismissed. It might not even make it to actually being fought in court. Now, if Deontay Wilder alleges that this fight is scripted, if he says, listen, this fight is going to be scripted, it's not going to be real, those allegations will be grounds for a lawsuit. Jake Paul will be able to take action. But saying, I think it's scripted, that's his personal opinion of what he thinks. You can't sue somebody over what they think. Come on now. But it's going down Friday, my peoples, and I tell you what, there are those who feel like Jake Paul has a chance. There are those who say, look, AJ is chinny, and if Jake Paul lands the right shot, man. All I could tell you is that taking a championship caliber fighter and putting him in an 8-rounder versus a guy who's never fought at any high level, the results that we're going to get is what everybody should be expecting. And look, Jake Paul, in the 5-6 years that he's been boxing, he's gotten pretty good. You know, he's not an elite level fighter. He's not a world championship caliber fighter, but he got pretty good. He know how to throw hands, and he got power. But the gap in skills, the gap in talent is too much to overcome, my peoples. You're not going to be able to overcome Anthony Joshua's pedigree. You're not going to be able to overcome the fact that he's been in there, you know, with the names that he shared the ring with on the big stage, fighting for titles, winning titles, 2-time heavyweight champion of the world. And Jake Paul was, you know, what is his best experience in the ring? Jake Paul, his best experience has been in sparring, because he sparred professionals and he sparred good boxers. But as far as his fights, and here's the thing, why I believe that Jake Paul is just diluted. When you consider the fact that he has a lot of money and he, you know, throws a lot of money around to have a great team around him and have great everything around him, do you think that if he's sparring with somebody, they really gonna hurt him? I know they gave him a black eye, I seen the image. But do you really believe that a sparring partner who's getting paid off of Jake Paul He's gonna go out there and knock him out, or beat him up, or do anything like that? Of course not. They even gonna let him work and look good, feel good. Not the same when you get in there in a real fight and your opponent is just trying to hurt you. And your opponent is not gonna slow down. When he catch you with a good shot, bang! Whoa, 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 whoa. There ain't no timeout in the real fight. He ain't gonna stop and be like, yo, you alright? Stuff that happens in sparring if you're getting dominated, if you're getting beat up. A real fight is different. So Jake Paul is gonna find himself facing AJ. That's a tough fight. AJ's not gonna give you a break. He's not gonna slow down. He's not gonna say, hold on, you alright? You good? That's not gonna happen in this fight, my peoples. So those who believe that Jake Paul has a chance, that he can win this fight, you're gonna be disappointed, man. You're gonna be real disappointed, my people. Because Anthony Joshua is going into this fight with some real bad intentions, y'all. That's why I made the example of when AJ fought Francis Ngannou. Remember when AJ fought Ngannou? I made that example. I said, y'all think about the approach that he had to that fight. Like, damn, this guy's really gonna disrespect me like this. This guy's really gonna act like he could beat me, like he coming off of MMA and he gonna beat me. It just wasn't gonna play out that way, my people. So now you have a guy who's never won a title, who's never even fought for a title, saying, yeah, I'm gonna beat AJ. Like, damn, these people think I'm washed up. What's going on out here? Okay, you're gonna... And I told you guys the other day, they asked Anthony Joshua, do you think it's crazy that he want to fight you? He said, nah, I don't think he's crazy. He believes he could beat me. So we're gonna fight. We're gonna see. That's it. You know that AJ is a fighter who is not a trash talker. He's not gonna get out there and talk all crazy and make a scene. He's just gonna show you in the ring. And that's the thing, when it comes to boxing, when you take a L, when you don't have a good fight, the narrative about how you a hype job and you're not the same and all of that kicks off right away. And Jake Paul must have felt that way, like AJ's done, and which, by the way, can't remember exactly how long ago, but it's months. It hasn't been years. Months ago, Jake Paul said that he could beat Anthony Joshua. Y'all don't remember that? Y'all didn't see that post? Did he say it or did he post it? I can't remember. But according to him, he could beat AJ. And that was months ago he said that. And I'm pretty sure AJ saw that. Took a mental note. When the fight came across his desk, he's like, God, homeboy really think he could beat me. Because, listen to this. When Jake Paul first made that comment that he could beat Anthony Joshua months ago, I thought he was capped. I thought he was clout chasing. Like, yeah, you know, you saying you could beat AJ. You just saying that to get attention. You don't want to fight that guy. Who really believed before the fight was announced that Jake Paul would have the audacity, the balls to get in there with AJ? Nobody. Sorry, I saw it. He said AJ chance gone. There you have it. There you have it, bro. AJ took a little mental note of that. He spoke like AJ's washed, done, and he could handle him. So I'm pretty sure when they say, yo, AJ, this guy want to fight you, he was like, oh, they really believe he could beat me, huh? Okay. We're going to have to do it and see. And then now we see that narrative, people believing that the fight is fake. People believing that the fight is scripted. Even Deontay Wilder, the Bronze Bomber, thinks that the fight is scripted. Zone Hawkins, Jake Paul gonna win though. The odds are stacked against him. The odds are stacked against him. I would say, look, if you believe that, just don't put money on it. Don't put money on it, family, because Anthony Joshua's going in there with the same intentions that he had versus Francis Ngannou. I'm going to teach you a lesson. I'm going to show you how this beat. Zon Hawkins, AJ too unpredictable. Now, he's never been unpredictable versus lesser opponents. Yo, AJ's never been unpredictable against lesser opponents. They all got knocked out. They all got beat up. Think about the people who beat Anthony Joshua. Andy Ruiz, Alexander Usyk. You know, it's not like he's out there losing to bums or losing to B-level fighters. And as good as we can think Jake Paul is, he ain't a world caliber fighter. Slow jamming James, Bronze Bomber can't beat top tier white boys. I mean, I don't know about white boys or any other race. I just know that right now, AJ might actually get in the ring and sleep Jake Paul brutally, and Deontay Wilder might end up in the ring with Alexander Usyk. Let's see what happened with that fight. It didn't really make a lot of sense to me. It still don't make sense to me. Why would Usyk be calling out a champion, a retired champion? What's Wilder? He's either 40 or 42 years old. I don't remember. Why would why would Usyk call him out? I don't know. That really doesn't make sense to me. But I will say, I get why people say that this fight is scripted. Think about it. Even the Bronze Bomber is saying, yo, I think it's scripted. That's what I think. Side, Usyk on his retirement tour. I guess so, but we can't say he's on his retirement tour yet because his last fight was the rematch with Daniel Dubois. Pulverized him, but that rematch was necessary because we know how the first fight played out. We know how it went. So what's next for Wilder? Is he really going to fight Alexander Usyk? Can he win that fight? Can he actually win it? And then again, my peoples, remember what I said. Jake Paul versus AJ, that's tomorrow. That's a Friday fight. Little 8-rounder for us to enjoy. Which I don't think is going 8 rounds, by the way. We're not going to see 8 rounds of action. Unless Jake Paul goes in there to survive. Because that could be the case too. We can say, you know what? If I survive and I go the distance, that's a win. I'm going to be able to tell the people, look, I went 8 rounds. I went the distance with a world champion. And that's going to be like a moral victory. So I don't know if Jake Paul is actually going to try to win this fight or if he's going to be looking for a moral victory. If he's going to be looking to say, look, I went the distance with AJ. A world champion couldn't stop me. You know, is that what he's looking to do? We shall see. We shall see, my peoples. But that's it. This fight is tomorrow. We made a lot of predictions. Most people got AJ winning this fight by brutal stoppage. Most. And then there's a few who say, hey, look, hey, Jake Paul can pull it off. Or he can land with that haymaker. Zest. I think Jake can last. We forgot that Jake been fighting for some time now. And he spars big boys. I mean, I don't think he can go the distance. If he goes in there to actually fight and try to win, I don't think he make it past 3-4 rounds. 4 rounds at the most. I don't see it going more than that. If he's actually there to fight. If he goes on survival mode and he's just trying to make it through, he might even go the distance. He's using the footwork, moving around, clinching. He could do that. Side, moral victory is all he can hope for. But that's what I'm saying. He's looking for that moral victory. You're not gonna see a Jake Paul that's trying to win the fight. You're gonna see somebody who's gonna be trying to make AJ miss, move around, throw some jabs, clinch, and you're gonna see that, on repeat. Flip mode. I wouldn't dare put money on a fight like this. I'm going with Wilder on this one. These fighters are mile apart. This fight does nothing for AJ's legacy. It's just a money grab. I mean, AJ's gonna get his money, obviously. He's gonna get a bag. Gonna get a bag. But I'm not knocking him because this is what I don't understand. And I want you to tell me what you think about that flip. How come when it was about Tank Davis, people were celebrating that Tank Davis was gonna get the bag with Jake Paul? Remember that? Hey, I would do the same thing too, man. I would do just like Tank. He's gonna get the bag with Jake Paul. We would all do the same thing too. And why now Anthony Joshua is not getting that same energy? I haven't heard the same crowd. There's a whole crowd of people saying that they would do the same thing too. Well, the fight didn't work out with Tank Davis. AJ's the one who's now getting that same bag that they were celebrating. So why are we not hearing, I would do the same thing like AJ. I would do the same thing. He's going to get the bag. Not getting that same energy. That's crazy. Joey. Yeah, everybody was like that with Tank because they knew Tank wasn't taking no dive. I know, but you're saying everybody knew Tank wasn't taking no dive. But what happens if Anthony Joshua knocks out Jake Paul? Then what? Then what is everybody going to say? Because the problem with that logic, Joey, that you have there is that this fight hasn't happened yet. And you got to remember, Tank had an exhibition show with Jake Paul, bro. You talking about Tank wasn't taking no dive. It's an exhibition. It wasn't going in the box rec. You really wanted to believe that was going to be real, Joey. But this one that is going in the box rec, you don't believe it. Come on. Listen to yourself. An exhibition, you talking about taking a dive in an exhibition. Meaningless. Worthless. And you're talking about Tank not taking a dive. It's an exhibition. It's a fake fight already. So you're celebrating the bag for a fake fight, but in a real fight, you want to make a conspiracy that this is going to be staged and it's going to be scripted. You prefer conspiracies than what you already knew was a fake fight. An exhibition. Come on, bro. The Leaks 24. Good morning, Box Center. Salute, my brother. Bam. Appreciate you dropping in. The narrative is going to continue that this fight is scripted, that AJ is going to take a dive. But what are people going to say when Jake Paul go to sleep? What's going to be the new narrative? Because it's like I told y'all. They were celebrating Tank going to get the money with Jake. Now they don't want to celebrate AJ going to get the money with Jake. In a real fight. So in other words, Tank is the only one that could get the money with Jake. Everybody else, we just got criticism for them. Flip mode. I was disappointed in the fight when Tank was about to take it. I want Tank to fight Shakur or Devin. The hell with Jake Paul. So I'm going to tell you what. That fight, if Tank Davis and Jake Paul would have fought, we was all going to tune in. Even though it's an exhibition, even though it was a fake fight because it's an exhibition, it doesn't go in the box rec, we was all going to tune in. And we was going to be seeing people celebrating. We would all do the same thing too. Tank is going to get the bag. But then when Jake Paul fights somebody else, oh, why are they fighting Jake Paul? Why? Why? This is fake. This is not real. Bro, Tank was going to do an exhibition with Jake Paul. It's an exhibition. That's the name of it. That's not real. And you supported it. So if you supported an exhibition, why would you not support a real fight that's going in the box rate and make up conspiracies out of thin air? Y'all going to find out. The fight is tomorrow. The fight is tomorrow. You're gonna find out. Should have been listening to me. That's all I'm gonna tell you. When Jake Paul get knocked out, I'm gonna just say, you should have been listening to me. My people, hit that like button, man. Not even 10 likes. It's diabolical on another level. Joey, a loss is a loss to Jake Paul, no matter what. You're saying a loss is a loss to Jake Paul, but I'm telling you that Anthony Joshua is going to beat him. Now, if you don't understand that, you're going to understand it tomorrow. I don't know if you're going to be one of the people who disappears after you realize it didn't go the way you thought, or if you're one of the people that actually show up and be like, damn, Jay, you was right. I should have been listening to you. It's that simple. Anthony Joshua's going to make easy work of him. Beat him up. Beat him up. And then what you going to say, Joey? Because think about it. When you make up a fake narrative out of thin air and it doesn't work out the way you thought, you got to come up with another fake narrative to follow that one up. So if Jake Paul goes to sleep, which I'm telling you is going to happen, what's going to be your next narrative? Because you clinging on to Tank Davis, it was going to be real. He wasn't going to take a dive. AJ's going to take a dive. Well, what happens when the fake narrative doesn't play out the way you thought? How do you come back from that, bro? That's why people rather just ghost watch after that. And they can't even say, yo, man, I thought it was going to be scripted. And when you see Jake Paul go down stiff, you're going to know it wasn't scripted. And what you going to say? It's going to be quite brutal the way that it plays out. Joey, no, I believe you. I'm just saying because Fury beat him and Anthony Joshua would beat Fury. Anthony Joshua would beat Fury. I mean, that's a good fight. That's a good fight. Zest, YouTube makes fighters. YouTube make fighters. I don't know. You know, YouTube made AJ. I mean, YouTube made Jake Paul. Zest, if AJ loses this fight, his career is really over, and Tank would have got dropped by Jake. He was too big and strong. Look, man, Jake Paul is going to sleep. Jake Paul is going to sleep. Smirnoff, Anthony is going to pull out. Oh, we got the conspiracists. Bro, the fight is tomorrow. That's not a very good conspiracy. It's tomorrow. You think Anthony's going to pull out of the fight the day before? I don't think that's going to work out too good. Wally, what up, Jay? I've been absent, but I'm still a loyal supporter of the channel. Stay blessed, brother. Appreciate you dropping in, Wally. You already know what it is, man. We talking boxing, answering to conspiracists, theorists who just, I don't know, man, how you guys you very creative, you know. You make stuff up out of thin air somehow, and you run with it. It takes a certain level of creativity. Like Smirnoff, Anthony Joshua has been in boxing for how many years, never pulled out of a single fight, and you're imagining that he's going to pull out of this one. That's pretty great, man. I got to give it to you. It's entertaining to be that creative. Joe, no, I believe Anthony Joshua will win because Fury beat Jake Paul, and Anthony Joshua would beat Fury. I mean, Tommy Fury obviously is a lower level opponent, but I will say Jake Paul has gotten a lot better since that fight. But still, man, come on. Anthony Joshua is a championship caliber fighter. Championship caliber fighter. Smirnoff, who is Patty Pimblett or Justin? Oh, you one of the dummies that come in here talking about different sports. We got a dummy over here, my peoples. Get out of here, dummy. We don't got time for you, dummy. Go ahead, start writing your paragraph like you want to retaliate. Now that I realize that Smirnoff is a dummy. Dummy. Wally, I'm out. Who's on the undercard, Jay? If I'm not mistaken, Alicia Baumgartner will be fighting, but I'm not sure who else. I know there's some good. You know, Jake Paul, he's been very smart with that. When he fights, You know, it's not a championship fight. It never is. So he always puts some real good fights on the undercard to make it attractive. He got the circus show on the main event, but then he got some real good fights. So I'm expecting a good card of boxing. The Hydro Grind, I will still put a little bit of money on the conspiracy, just in case. J-Mo, kick him out. Yeah, he a dummy. He out of here. We don't need the dummies. The leaks, putting 100 on Paul. Let's go. Plus 700. Now listen, putting a little bit of money on Jake Paul is not going to hurt you, just in case. But you got to put that money on him, understanding that you probably are going to lose it. Don't have the expectations now that you flipping. J-Mo, Clarissa Shields, I think. Zest, he knows how to draw the money with the cards. The Hydro Grind, Daniel Dubois' sister is making her debut on the undercard. Oh, whoa, let's see what Daniel Dubois' sister's about. I'm interested. I want to see, can she fight like her brother? Are we going to be seeing a future world champion making her debut? So, yeah, definitely checking her out. Wally Ahmad, Jay, do you know the betting line in Vegas? I don't know the betting line, but I'm pretty sure Anthony Joshua is going to be the heavy, heavy favorite. I saw somebody place $100,000 bet on Jake Paul. And the bet wins like $1.5 million or something like that. The Hydro Grind, Joshua is a heavy favorite. Heavy, bro. Flip mode. Jay Smith, I tried to get rid of that troll, but my wrench hasn't returned. Oh, shit, hold on. Yeah, I let him throw in a few, and then I give it to him. Dummy. You know how we handle the dummies. My peoples, make your predictions, but when you make them, go by the skill set. Go by what you see inside the ring. Go by performances that you've seen from the fighter that tell you, okay, this is what I see here. Don't make predictions based off of who you like, who you don't like. Don't do that. You see all the people that predict against Crawford because they don't like him, they be feeling dumb as hell every time he fights. Roland, Jack is the real deal, bro. Jack? Who the fuck is Jack? SHB, what round you got? Look, man, I'm going to say this. If Jake Paul goes in there to fight, like actually acting like he want to win, he's out of it in the first 3-4 rounds. If he goes in there to survive, on survival mode, so he could even go the distance. Running, clinching, moving, jabbing, grabbing, he could go the distance. Zest, I want to see Crawford in boots. I want a toilet out of solid gold. It's just not going to happen. I've learned how to accept it. You got to learn too. The Hydro Grind, Crawford retired, bro. Keep up with the news. Like, the guy retired already, man. Like, what are we talking about? I'm going to say this. With Crawford beating Canelo Alvarez, you can see that people just want to see him lose badlier than ever. SHB, you sound like Paul doesn't stand a chance. Well, to be honest, he doesn't stand a chance. He doesn't. That's just the reality. Roland, Jake is the man. J-Mo, Crawford retired just to leave him alone. Julius Explorer, Jake Paul wins by KO, rounds 3-6. Oh, my peoples. Jake Paul has fans saying that he's going to win the fight by stoppage. Julius, you're very creative, man. I would just say don't put any money on that. Don't bet on that happening. The odds are highly against you. And look, for you guys who are saying Jake Paul's gonna win, Jake Paul's gonna win by stoppage, Saturday's episode of Boxing for Breakfast is gonna be for you. You guys are my special guests. I hope that you guys tune in. The Hydro Grind, who are all these people who don't know shit about boxing? Man, I don't know how many vegetable salads is up in here. Rolling, Jake wins in the first round KO. SB, it's a fight. Jay, anything can happen. That's right, you're right. Anything can happen. But the odds suggest that the one thing that will happen is Anthony Joshua sleeping him. Wally Ahmad, I salute Terence Crawford. And thank you for all the money you won me over the years. I'm happy that he's retiring, but it hurts to see him go. Team Crawford gets active. Man, listen, I'm happy that Crawford is able to retire on his own terms, able to retire as an undefeated champion on top of the world. But it's bittersweet, man, because we're not going to see the greatest of our generation fighting anymore. That's it. We got what we was going to get from Crawford. Now, there's those of us who actually enjoy watching history, understood that we was watching history, and then there's those that spent the whole time just hating on Crawford, the whole time trying to discredit him, trying to discredit his opponents, his accomplishments. And yet, look, even when they've been saying for years, he's the B-side, he's not marketable, he doesn't make money like that. The guy comes out in Forbes magazine after making over $100 million in his last outing. This guy owns a bunch of property in his home state, owns his gym. Like, Terence Crawford is a very wealthy man. Despite the whole narrative about how he's the B-side, he's not marketable, he doesn't make more money than this fighter or that fighter. He got more money than all those fighters people try to say about. Roland, you're super close to 24, 24, 24. Roland, even if Jake was one arm, he still win. Nah, Roland is not close to 24, 24, 24. He close to the black party. He already established himself as a dummy. You a dummy. You out of here. Bam, dummy. Sometimes you don't need 24, 24, 24. He a dummy. Zez, everyone is entitled to their opinion. This is boxing. That's facts. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. But I'm entitled to identify and block dummies. Julius Explorer, Jake Paul is the best heavyweight right now. Another dummy needs to be taken out of here. This has turned into a black party, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, Trizzle. Crawford the man. Of course, Crawford became the face of boxing just like that. From being the most hated fighter, the most discredited, the most downplayed, the most diminished, to becoming the face of boxing. The Blue Baron. I honestly think Jake has a very good chance versus Joshua. Look, if you honestly think that, I could respect that. But I would say the odds are going to be heavily against that happening simply because we've seen the career that each fighter has had. Ben, who is Crawford? Take a 24-hour break, Google it, and tomorrow you let us know what you found out. The Blue Barrel, he was good, but not GOAT. SHB, what's wrong with open dialogue? You're entitled to be wrong also. Don't be small-minded. What open dialogue are we talking about? Open dialogue is great. Open dialogue is beautiful. But if you're just saying dumb stuff, you don't want open dialogue. You just want to say dumb stuff. Which, by the way, that comment is dumb. So you out of here too, dummy. Bam. Giving over here advice. Get your dumb ass out of here. J-Mo. Ben, Crawford is one that whooped Canelo ass. The Hydro Grind. Bro, what is going on today? I don't know. I think the vegetable salad made like 20 counts and went in with all of them at once. Flipmo, the Hydro Grind. He thought you was kidding. He thought wrong. The Blue Baron. Who wins? Prime Mayweather versus Prime Crawford. That's tough. It's tough to make a prediction on that one. I pick Prime Crawford simply because he's going to have the edge in power and he's a switch hitter. But I respect anyone picking Mayweather to win that fight. Side of clowns are coming out and they getting packed out too. Pack your ass out. Leonard, 2 names on the resume. Stop the cap. 2 names on the resume? Come on, man. You see, that's the cap. That's the cap right there. And it may not be cap, Leonard. It may be that you don't know shit about boxing. Sometimes people don't know shit about boxing and they say things like that. 2 names on the resume. So Sean Porter is not a name. Amir Khan is not a name. Kell Brook is not a name. Yuriorkis Gamboa is not a name. All these people who were world champions, they not a name. Guess what? They only not a name to people who don't know shit about boxing. That's the only ones. But people who understand, they got Crawford as the #1 pound for pound fighter in the world for a reason. There's a reason. There's a reason why Terence Crawford is one of the most accomplished fighters in our era. So when you say, oh, just 1 name, just 2 names, that's because you either don't know shit about boxing or you don't like Terence Crawford. You decide who are the names. You make a decision. Look, Leonard, look what you said. You said Khan, Wash. Porter, damn, Porter's a journeyman with the start, with the championship that he won. Okay, then, Khan was washed. Now, let me show you something. I'm going to show you that you just don't understand boxing. You don't know shit about boxing. Leonard, watch this. Watch this. Khan age when he faced Crawford. I'm going to show you why I'm Jay Stradamus. Amir Khan, you said, was washed when he fought Crawford. He was 32 years old when he fought Terence Crawford. Now, let me tell you something. Oscar De La Hoya was older than Amir Khan when he fought Floyd Mayweather. Did you say he was washed? Manny Pacquiao was older than Amir Khan when he fought Floyd Mayweather. Did you say he was washed? Most of the big names that Floyd fought was all older than Amir Khan. Did you say they was all washed? Or only the people that Crawford fought at that age was washed? Leonard, I'm asking you. So every champion that Floyd beat that was older than Khan was also washed according to you? So I'm showing you, you don't know shit about boxing. If you knew shit about boxing, you would understand that 32 years old is not washed. And if you think 32 years old is washed, then damn, bro, you just said almost every champion Floyd beat was washed. Who's your favorite fighter? And let me show you how many champions they beat that was 32 and older. So I'm using your own logic, Leonard Rodriguez, to show you that you don't know shit about boxing, bro. You really said Amir was washed at 32 years old when almost every champion Floyd beat was 32 and older. You don't know shit about boxing. Subscribe to the channel and I'm going to teach you. I'm going to school you so you don't make dumb arguments. Side, Leonard don't know shit about boxing, but I'm going to teach him. I'm going to school him. He said Amir Khan was washed at 32 years old. Well, then I guess everybody at 32 was washed. Come on now. Oh, so Leonard, you made a transition. You went from washed to how many losses? You say he washed at 32 years old. Okay, so Leonard, how many losses did Zab Judah have versus Floyd Mayweather? How many losses did Shane Mosley have versus Floyd Mayweather? How many losses Oscar De La Hoya have versus Floyd Mayweather before he fought Floyd Mayweather? So why you not counting Floyd Mayweather's opponents' losses, but you counting Terence Crawford's opponents' losses? Wait a minute. If you didn't know Leonard Rodriguez, Terence Bud Crawford fought and beat more undefeated fighters than Floyd Mayweather, but you probably didn't know that. Floyd Mayweather fought 3 undefeated fighters in his whole career. 3 undefeated fighters in his whole career. Was they all damaged? Was Oscar De La Hoya damaged when Floyd beat him? Was Manny Pacquiao damaged? Was Zab Judah damaged? Was everybody damaged? So Leonard Rodriguez, who is it that you're talking about? How do you measure fighters? Leonard Rodriguez, who are your 3 best active fighters right now? Who are they? Who are your favorite active fighters? You put in this measuring bar on Terence Crawford. Oh no, they lost. They washed at 32 years old. Huh? They washed at 32 years old? How exactly did you figure that they was washed at 32, but Floyd Mayweather's opponents wasn't washed at 34, 35, 36? I don't understand that. Leonard, my favorite fighters are Bam, an undefeated champion, Inoue, an undefeated champion, and Usyk, another undefeated champion. That's the names that you look for. Bam, Inoue, and Usyk. Man, you don't know shit about boxing. I don't got time for you. You out of here, dummy. This dude look for 3 undefeated fighters to make an argument. We don't got time for dummies like that. Jeremiah, Floyd Mayweather, pound for pound, greatest of all time. Everyone hates on Rocky Marciano and Mayweather for winning. Oh no, don't get it twisted. Mayweather's without a doubt one of the greatest of all time. But the point is that when you hate, you don't realize that you could be talking about his resume too. Because if you tell me that a fighter's washed at 32 years old, how many champions did Floyd beat that was 32 and older? A bunch. Most of Floyd's opponents was older than Amir Khan. Most of the champions he beat was older than Amir Khan. So how you telling me Floyd resume great, but Khan is washed up at 32 when Floyd beat guys that was 34, 35, 36, 38? But Khan is washed at 32? I don't know, man. People just got to start, figuring out how to measure every fighter the same way, instead of trying to build a narrative around one fighter. Wally Ama, these are the clown fanboys that glaze the PBC. They've been hurt since Bud destroyed Aerospace and punked Charlo at the same time. Punked them. Rough record, my favorite boxer ever is Lennox Lewis. Lennox Lewis is one of the greatest heavyweights of all time and an all-time great. And I'm going to tell you, when I watch Lennox Lewis beat up Evander Holyfield, that hurt. That hurt. And that's when I really accepted how great he was. Like, I know, okay, he's a great fighter, but damn. Did it like that to Evander? Christopher Marfleet, Mayweather isn't the greatest of all time. It's all about opinion. But Christopher, if that's your opinion, it's okay, but you still have to acknowledge that Floyd Mayweather has to be in the conversation. If you don't have him as the greatest of all time, it's okay. But if you say that he's not in the conversation, no one will even take you serious. No one will take you serious. If you say, nah, he's not even in the conversation, no one would even take you serious. At that point, it'll be like, okay, this is somebody that just don't like Floyd Mayweather. Because people who just are giving out their opinion might say he's not the number one, but they'll always say he's one of them. He's one of the guys. J-Mo Leonard, it doesn't matter. Yeah, that dummy's out of here already. We don't got time for it. Rough record. Roy Jones Jr. was a bad man too. Man, Roy Jones Jr. was special. I think the only problem with Roy Jones Jr. is that he came up in an era where there wasn't a lot of big stars in the divisions that he was fighting. Most of the stars was at the welterweight division. Tito Trinidad, Oscar De La Hoya, even Julio Cesar Chavez before them. A lot of people was around those weight classes. So Roy Jones Jr. didn't fight a lot of stars. He fought a lot of people that we never heard of, a lot. Fought a police officer, I remember one time. I think even a school principal or something. Jeremiah Croston. Same with Marciano. But I will say, when it comes to Rocky Marciano, it's hard to really, for me personally, to gauge how good he was, because I know that back then, the Mafia, they were fixing a lot of fights too. Rocky Marciano was the recipient or the beneficiary of some of those fights based on what I've heard. So how good he was, I know he was good because George Foreman said it. George Foreman said that Rocky Marciano was a great fighter. To me, that's good enough. But I didn't really get to see him. I don't know. Based on what I heard, it seemed like he was a brawler. He was the type of fighter that he was going to outgun his opponent, out-tough his opponents. You know, there's a little bit of footage out there, not really enough, not with the right quality for you to really appreciate his skills. But Rocky Marciano retired undefeated, so you got to give it to him. The Blue Baron, I don't think Roy Jones was a bad guy, but he didn't push that gangster stuff too much. But he did push that gangster stuff too much. Now, he wasn't a bad guy. Roy Jones Jr. is a guy who was in boxing from a very young age, from Pensacola, Florida, and he was never in the streets, never in those type of situations and controversies. But I would say he had more of that swag that people wasn't used to, that attitude, that demeanor of nobody can touch me. Frank, Lennox doesn't get the credit for being the KO monster that he was. And Lennox Lewis, man, got some brutal knockouts throughout his career. One of my favorite knockouts was Hasim Rahman. You know why? Because he lost to Rahman. That was his first L, and he got stopped, and he was winning that fight. He was outboxing him, but he caught a monster right hand, boom, and got stopped. And I don't know if you guys remember this, but there was a rematch clause. Hasim Rahman refused to give him the rematch. He didn't want to give him the rematch. And he wanted to move on to fight elsewhere, fight somebody else or whatever. But Lennox Lewis, having that rematch clause, took him to arbitration, took him to court, basically. And it took, I don't know if it took like a whole year or something like that, but it took some time. Rahman couldn't fight nobody else because he was tied up in that rematch clause. And Lennox Lewis won, and he had to give him the rematch. And what a brutal knockout he got on Hasim Rahman with the right hand. Picture perfect, landed flush, boom! And it was all over right there. Made quick work of him too. Zez, most people don't like Floyd because they don't like his attitude, just like Clarissa. I think that's accurate. I think that's accurate. You know, with Floyd Mayweather, there's a lot of people who just don't like him as a person, how he is. And that's okay. If you don't like somebody for how they are, that's on you. That's not going to affect them. They're going to be good regardless. The Blue Baron, when Lewis knocked out Rahman with that 1-2, it was brutal. Come on, man. He got his get back the right way. And it's funny because, you know, like I said, Rahman, he beat him and tried not to give him the rematch. Slick ass. And look what happened. Now you know why he didn't want to give him the rematch. Rough record. As an 11-year-old at the time, Lennox Lewis was like a giant to me. And look, Lennox Lewis was a special fighter. And he accomplished a lot in the ring. CER, sir. The right hand sparked him and knew it was a lucky punch. He knew it was a lucky punch. Because if he would have felt like he could beat him, he would have did the rematch. He's going to make a shitload of money. He didn't want to do the rematch. And by the way, before he landed that punch, he was losing. He was losing a fight. Landed the right hand, stopped Lennox Lewis, gave him his first L, and was trying to get out of the rematch. Like, nah, we're not doing a rematch. Couldn't do it. That's the one thing that Hasim Rahman and his team found out. If you go into a fight, if you're getting a title shot with a rematch clause and you win, ain't no way you're going to be able to fight somebody else until you do that rematch. Unless the champion doesn't want the rematch, that's different. If there's a rematch clause and you beat up the champion badly and he don't want the rematch, that's different. Canelo Alvarez should not want the rematch against Terence Crawford because he's probably getting beat up worse. But in this case, Hasim Rahman did not want the rematch. He thought that he could avoid it, and he could not. You got to defend that title against that champion that you beat. Denza never knew that. That's the way it played out. Hasim Rahman did not want to go. You could look it up. They did a little story about it and everything, about how Hasim didn't want to fight him in the rematch and they had to take him to court. And this whole time they was waiting to make it happen until finally he had no choice but to fight him. The Blue Barrel. That's why I love heavyweights. They don't have a puncher's chance. Anyone can beat anyone. You never know. You never know. Kevin, Charlie Zanilov. Kevin, you started the sentence with that. I'm going to have to send you to the block party, man. Get your dummy ass out of here. If you start a sentence, if you come into this channel and you start a sentence with Charlie Zanilov, you're invited to the block party immediately. You're a dummy. You think we playing around over here? Side, the GOAT has retired. That's a fact. Tony Davila, Canelo Alvarez wanted the rematch with Terence Crawford. Come on. That's not facts. Send the contract. They know the price. They could get a rematch. Rough record. How has no one talked about Sonny Liston? Another all-time great. Another all-time great fighter. Side, he would have got stopped in the rematch. He would have been beat up brutally. Zay, Floyd defeated 22 world champs. Side, and how many of those 22 world champions, Zez, was 32 years old or older? Side, Canelo should be thanking Bud. The Blue Baron, like Andy Ruiz beating Joshua, which was unbelievable at the time, especially here in the UK. That was a monster upset. Monster upset. Nobody went into that fight thinking that Andy Ruiz even had a shred of a chance to beat AJ. I remember people were saying, the fat guy, the fat kid, this is like the bully fighting the fat kid from school. All type of memes about that. All type of memes. And we see how that fight played out. The rematch was crazy to watch, though. Because the rematch, Andy Ruiz showed up all out of shape, looking like a whole different fighter, fighting like a whole different fighter. And AJ outboxed the shit out of him. AJ made easy work. Then, I'll take Crawford. I take Crawford over Mayweather. But if anybody picks Mayweather, you gotta respect that. Rough record, Lennox Lewis in his prime or Fury in his prime. Who's winning? I got Lennox Lewis. I don't have any heavyweight from this era beating Lennox Lewis. None of them. Will, bro, do you be up so early that you be falling asleep during main event fights? I saw you during the Roach Cruz fight. Nah, bro, look, I didn't really fall asleep. I was resting my eyes and people thought I fell asleep. I was resting my eyes. There's no proof that I ever fell asleep. The Blue Baron, Joshua, had no answer to Andy Ruiz's hand speed. And the thing is, he got caught with a big shot early. So once Andy Ruiz caught him with that shot to the dome piece, he never really recovered. That was it. That was it. From that point on, it all just went downhill. Tony Davila, Terence Crawford fought Canelo Alvarez very defensively. Terence Crawford should have KO'd Canelo, but he only countered. That's the thing, Tony. Once you do what you're not supposed to and win, now we got to discredit the way that he wins, or we got to dissect the way that he wins, which I predicted that. I said the people that said Canelo's going to knock Terence Crawford out, when he beat him, now they're going to say, well, yeah, he beat him, but the way that he beat him, it should have been a different way. Come on, Tony Davila. He beat him in a very convincing fashion, outboxed him and outclassed him. That's just the reality. He's better than Canelo. Captain Paper Planes, Canelo lost his jab at that cost him. There was no jab out there. What jab you... Look, how is Canelo going to jab with a guy who has a monster reach advantage on him. You ain't jabbing with Terence Crawford. That's the thing about a jab. If people say, use the jab, use the jab. Yes, you got to use the jab. The jab is one of the most important, or the most important punch in boxing, because you set everything up with the jab. But if you got somebody in front of you that has a better jab than you, it's going to be tough to get yours off. Tough. Zest, 10 of the champions were over 30. Nah, I said over 32. I said over 32, to be specific. And then, those that are over 32, name them. It's going to turn out to be the best names in Floyd Mayweather's resume. Name them. Name the guys that was over 30 years old. Over 32 when they fought Floyd. Because Amir Khan was washed, right? So if Amir Khan was washed at 32, name the champ that Floyd fought that was 32 and over. And then tell me that they was washed too. Some guy, are you a trainer? You give me trainer vibes. Well, I boxed as an amateur. And I've been around a lot of fighters. I've been in the gym. I've been trained with professional fighters. But I'm not a trainer. I do work with trainers, though. Rough record. Big facts. Flipmo, I got to get back to work. Salute, my brother. Appreciate you dropping in. And everybody, yo, welcome to another episode of Boxing for Breakfast, my peoples. This is Thursday, and y'all getting this healthy dosage of sweet science early in the morning. It's been a block party. A lot of dummies got sent straight to the block party. My people, hit that like button, man. You don't need to ghost watch. I've been pucking for you for over an hour. Not even 20 likes. Why y'all gotta do me like this? Why you gotta duck that like button the same way some fighters be ducking? I'm not gonna drop no names. I don't want nobody getting mad at me. The Blue Baron, Usyk maybe, and I stress maybe, might have a chance versus Lennox. But that's it. I think Alexander Usyk does give Lennox Lewis a great fight. But Lennox was so good with using his reach advantage on fighters. With punching you that right hand from long range, that long right hand. He was so good with that shot. Stopped a lot of people with it. And I think that ultimately, he was going to use that size advantage to beat Usyk. Jeremiah, Crawford over Mayweather, resume doesn't matter. Resume doesn't matter. You know, Jeremiah, I might be the first to tell you this, but resumes don't fight for you. If resumes mattered, Canelo would have beat the shit out of Crawford. Why Canelo didn't beat the shit out of Crawford if resumes mattered? So you think Mayweather's going to beat Crawford because of the resume? Why Canelo didn't use his resume to beat Crawford? So never forget this. Your resume, who you beat yesterday, who you beat last year, that don't mean shit when you step in the ring with a new opponent. It's who's going to win today. It's who's the better fighter today, not the resume. According to the resume, y'all thought Errol Spence was going to beat Terence Crawford. According to the resume, you thought Canelo was going to knock Terence Crawford out. How did the resume help him? You tell me how Canelo resume help him with Terence Crawford. How did that work out? Well, resting my eyes. That's right. That's right. Going like this for like 30 seconds, that don't mean you fell asleep, bro. That don't mean you fell asleep. There's no evidence of any sleeping taking place. Rough record. Rough record. You must have been laughing when McGregor fought Mayweather. I mean, that's what I expected was going to happen. McGregor has a record of 0-0-0. I thought that was a joke. I felt like that fight should not have been sanctioned. Because I like, damn, Floyd Mayweather's really going to reach 50-0 by getting in the ring with a guy who's never fought professionally. That's crazy. I guess only in Vegas you could pull that shit off. But they both got the bag. Both of them got the super bag. So ultimately, congratulations to Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather. Making it happen. Big business. Tony Davila, what's your opinion of Terence Crawford retiring? Terence could have made millions from here on out. That's the thing, Tony Davila. We live in the internet era where everybody's thinking like that. He could have made millions. He could have made more money. Everybody's always thinking about more money. Who makes the most money? Who put the most butts in seats? Who sells the most pay-per-views? Bro, Terence Crawford has over 100 million. He owns dozens of properties in his home state of Omaha, Nebraska. The guy has I don't know how many endorsements at this point. Guess what, Tony Davila? Everybody doesn't want to make all the money in the world, my people. Some people, they good. They don't need more. They don't need to fight for money forever, bro. Some people can say, yo, I got it. That's it. This guy has this guy has generational wealth. I want you to think about that, Tony. The guy has generational wealth. He doesn't have to work a day in his life. His kids won't have to work a day in his life. His grandkids don't have to work a day in their life. And you're sitting here talking about he could have made more money. It's not something wrong with him because he could have made more money. It's something wrong with you that you see a wealthy man and your train of thought is, man, he could have made more money. Come on, man. Greed. You don't realize greed seeps into everybody. You're having greed over somebody else's money. He good, bro. He's straight. Now, are you a millionaire? Do you have millions in the bank? So think about it. We work 9 to 5s, and we talking about this guy with over $100 million. He could have made a lot more money. That's crazy that you think like that, bro. He good. You don't have to worry about what he could have made. The guy just came out in GQ magazine for recently making over $100 million. And you focusing about how he could have made more? That's greed, my peoples. You gotta stop just wanting more and more and more money and more money and more money. Y'all gotta stop that, bro. Look to be good. Look to be happy. Instead of more money, more money, more money. That's like, and that's funny because it's like the narrative that's followed Crawford. He's the B-side. He's not the guy making the most money. He's not the one putting the most butts in seats. And now it comes out that the guy's in GQ magazine, the guy who made the most money this year. Nobody's made more money than Crawford. $100 million in the bank. And you're talking about he could have made more money. Come on, man. Y'all gotta stop being greedy over other people's money. Denzel, Crawford did what he needed to do, not to get knocked out. Any mistake that could have happened. Of course, he not dumb. Look, beating Canelo is not as easy as it looked. It looked easy because Terence Crawford is that great. But he knows that he's in there with another great fighter, a pound-for-pound fighter. He's not going to make a mistake and get knocked out. Outclassed him. Outclassed him. Simple as that. Well, did you see the Sean Zittle's interview with Sulaiman on the Crawford belt? I didn't see all of it. I saw some of it. But we already know that Mauricio Sulaiman is a piece of shit. He's a piece of shit. For whatever he say, it's from the perspective of a piece of shit. The Blue Baron, this is a great channel. I could talk boxing all day. Salute, my brother. Appreciate it. That's what this is about. And we headed for number 1. We going for that number 1 spot. Remember, 2026, my peoples, is going to be crazy. If you're not subscribed to Box Center, if you're not subscribed to Box Center 2.0, you're going to miss out. You're going to miss out. This shit ain't no fluke. You see how we doing the dummies that show up over here talking dumb shit when they don't know shit about boxing? Block those dummies. 24, 24, 24 for those dummies. Why? Because we having good boxing conversation over here. We don't got no time for the goofballs. Zez, Canelo is older now. It's my excuse. Marcus Morel, Floyd is garbage. No ifs, ands, or buts. Not up for debate. Floyd is garbage. For you to say Floyd is garbage, just tell me that you're a dummy. And we don't got time for dummies up in here. Floyd, one of the greatest. You a dummy. And what you got to say is really the garbage that I've seen right now. Dummy, you out of here. Don't disrespect Floyd up in here like that. You see what I'm trying to tell you, my peoples? I criticize Floyd once in a while, but you don't disrespect the GOAT and survive on this channel, bro. Floyd is garbage? Of course I gotta get you the fuck out of here. You don't know shit about boxing. You never did, and you probably never will. Motherfucker said Floyd is garbage. CER. Facts. We knew he wouldn't get the credit from people who never give credit. Come on. There's always been a narrative. There's always been people trying to find a negative angle, trying to find a way to hate. Come on now. CER Matumbo with them blocks. I'm going to have to start doing one of these on them, CER. Bang! Before blocking them. The Matumbo finger wag. Side, you can't fight a damn resume. That's what people don't understand. With that resume, you think resumes don't fight, man. You don't bring your resume and they fight each other inside the ring. If that was the case, everybody with a better resume would always win. But it's not like that, right? Because your resume is not going to fight for you. It don't matter who you beat yesterday. This the guy you got to fight today. Jeremiah proved himself. Tony, name one great existing fight. Name one great existing fight that Floyd Mayweather fought. How can I name that? That's all up to opinion. But Floyd Mayweather fought Diego Corrales. That was a great fight. Name one great fight that Floyd Mayweather fought. I mean, I don't know. I guess you don't like Floyd Mayweather, maybe. He fought a lot of great fights. Denzel, no one took a punch like Crawford. How you got beat? How you go beat someone you can't hurt? And Crawford can take a shot. And you remember how they kept bringing up the Gamboa hurt him theme? If Gamboa hurt him, imagine what Arrow's gonna do to him. Oh my God, Arrow's gonna hurt him badly. If Gamboa wobble him, imagine what Canelo's gonna do to him. That's because you don't know shit about boxing. I keep trying to explain. What happened the other day with the other fighter got nothing to do with what's gonna happen in this fight. It's irrelevant. Shaku hands. I be falling asleep like that, Jay. I don't know how you be falling asleep, because I don't. I don't. Paul Smith, bro, resumes get you the big fights. No, you're right about that. Resumes get you the big fights, but they don't dictate who's going to win or lose, my God. To say that Floyd is going to beat Crawford because of the resume is ridiculous. That same logic should have got Canelo the win too. And he couldn't get it. That same logic should have got Arrow the win. He couldn't get it. So that should be enough for people to understand that a resume is not going to win you a fight. A resume is going to make you money, but nobody disputed that. Nobody said that a resume is not going to get you money or get you the big fights. It's not going to win you the big fights. CER, yes, his grandkids are set right now, but that's what I'm talking about. Terence Crawford, his family, his grandkids, and multiple generations going down the line, they set. With all of the properties that Terence Crawford has alone, there's generational wealth right there. Just with the properties that he owns is generational wealth. Then you talk about the money and the assets, the endorsement deals. Yo, we don't ever need to mention Terence Crawford's money. We don't ever need to do that. This guy's wealthy. We're not wealthy. We need to try to be wealthy, if anything. Jeremiah, everyone hates Floyd Mayweather, but loves Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson never beat one great fighter beside old Larry Holmes. And he's great because best fighter was Floyd Patterson, not Mike Tyson. That's a reasonable opinion. But I think that Mike Tyson had that it factor that made him popular. Mike Tyson was that guy who was spectacular every time out when it came to knocking out his opponents. And I'm going to tell you, I've been watching boxing over 30 years, Mike Tyson is probably the only fighter that I felt when he was going out, his opponent was scared. Mike Tyson is the guy who you saw some of his opponents that you could see they were scared. You could see opponents looking at Mike Tyson before the fights like a deer in a headlight. Like you know you're about to get beat up. So Mike Tyson had an aura about him that I've never seen in boxing, bro. Before or after. I never seen that. I seen scary fighters. I'm not saying he was the only scary fighter. But even the most scary fighters, there was guys out there that was like, what's up, what's up? With Mike Tyson, it was different. Yeah, they played it off like, what's up, what's up? But when it came to fight, now you saw guys looking at Mike like they just know what's going to happen to them. So I think that's what made Mike Tyson different than Floyd. Floyd had a lot of criticism because of his style. People didn't like him moving, using the footwork, and they called him a runner and all of this stuff. Mike Tyson was the opposite. Mike Tyson was running at you and looking to destroy you early and brutally. And boxing is a brutal sport. So what are you going to like more than a savage fighter who's brutalizing his opponents? Mike Tyson was the guy. That's why Mike Tyson is one of the most famous boxers of all time. That will never change. Think about how long ago Mike Tyson retired. Think about how long ago he held the world title. Mike Tyson is almost 60 years old. And today, he's just as relevant as any fighter at almost 60. So you got to respect him for his accomplishments, what he was able to do in the ring. And even now, after boxing, after going broke, after going bankrupt, Mike Tyson was able to bounce back. Have successful businesses, get endorsements, do different things. Salute to Mike Tyson, man. An icon, a legend, a GOAT. Tony Davila, what do you think about Floyd Mayweather versus Tyson fight that's coming up? It's an exhibition. Mike Tyson is almost 60 years old. Floyd Mayweather in his late 40s. It's an exhibition fight. They both gonna make their money. And I said this before. I kind of changed my stance on that before I had an issue with it. But if a fighter is already retired, if two fighters are already retired and they can come together to do an exhibition and get money, I'm with it. If two fighters, who put in that work have already retired and they say, yo, let's get together, let's make this money, I don't have a problem with it. I know that Mike Tyson and Floyd Mayweather, they not going to hurt each other. They both older. They not going to be out there. Nobody's going to, get taken out in a stretcher or get knocked out brutally. None of that stuff is going to happen. They're going to have fun. They're going to land some good shots on each other here and there. Pa, 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 pa. Make sure the crowd enjoy the show. And they're going to make a heck of a lot of money. So I'm with it. I respect that. Side, Bud retired at the perfect time. I want to see Usyk do the same. I agree with you. At 38 years old, perfect time to retire. Don't wait. And I think he said it, but I've heard other athletes say it. I want to retire. I don't want the sport to retire me. What better way to go than on top? And right after one of the biggest wins in boxing history. CER, facts. Greed over someone else's money is crazy work. See what I'm trying to tell you? There's too much greed. Everybody, it's just money, money, money. He's making more money. Who's making more money? We want to make... Listen, stop being greedy over people's money. Junior, being swift is a useful skill. Mayweather, mosquito. Jeremiah, and resumes matters because you can fight bums. Look at Tyson, first part of his career, all bums. So Floyd Mayweather beating up 25 greatest fighters of all time. His resume matters. Floyd Mayweather beat 25 greatest fighters of all time. Who told you that? So you decided that all the champions, Floyd B, was the greatest fighters of all time? You wildin' out, Jeremiah. You see, that's the thing. I know what Floyd Mayweather done, but then you grab it and you try to stretch it. You don't have to stretch his greatness, bro. We know he's the greatest of all time, or one of them. But when you do that, you take away from him. Because when you try to exaggerate his greatness, then it sounds like we lying about how great he is. You don't have to do that, bro. Floyd did not beat 25 of the greatest fighters of all time. You could say he beat 25 champions, cool. But 25 of the greatest of all time? Come on, bro. Don't do that, bro. You don't have to do that, my G. Everybody he beat wasn't the greatest of all time, bro. Paul Smith, Bud not retired. He taking a break. I hope so. I hope that's the way it's going to play out. Because I said it before. He's retired. But if they offer him $100 million for the rematch with Canelo, he'll be right back. His Excellency Turkey Al-Sheikh could put up $100 million so he can fight in the TKO league and get them popping off. Zion, please, can I talk to you? Holla at me, family. What's good? What's good, Zion? What's the deal? Shackle hands, 24, 24, 24. Junior Vargas, Crawford, and ilk or Bernard Hopkins skilled technician. Crawford in ilk of Bernard Hopkins skilled technician. I don't know what I'm missing there, bro, but I'm not able to put that sentence together. Shackle hands, golf balls. You know how they is, man. They need that attention. There's a B-Hop went hard. Yo, look, Bernard Hopkins, let me tell you, in case you don't know this, I know a lot of people don't. Bernard Hopkins lost his first professional fight. First professional fight. First professional fight. Bernard Hopkins lost it. And then what? Had a monster run, career of a lifetime, and retired. One of the best in his generation and an all-time great. Gotta respect Bernard Hopkins. Tony Davila, by the time Canelo Alvarez quit boxing, he'll be a billionaire. I like Floyd. I mean, okay. That's good. That's good for Canelo. I'm not sure how is that good for you, though. You see, it's good for Canelo that he'll be a billionaire, but how is that good for you, Tony? For Tony and his family, how is that good? Because I don't care who retires with $1 billion or who retires with 500 million. They both have millions and I don't. That's what I know. Why are you worried about who's going to have $1 billion and who has 100 million? I don't know. I'm just trying to understand that logic, that thinking of other people's money. Paul Smith, Floyd not for the people and disrespectful to Ali. You see, it's tough to say that because if you do a little research, you're going to find out Floyd Mayweather has done a lot for a lot of people, bro. Floyd Mayweather has done a lot for a lot of people. So when you say Floyd not for the people, think about how many people have a job because of Floyd Mayweather, how many people feed their family, pay their bills because of Floyd Mayweather, how many people is employed in that club that he got in Vegas, how many people getting paid, getting money because of Floyd, how many people, security guards getting paid because of Floyd, got nice cars, got nice house. So Floyd Mayweather do a lot for a lot of people, bro. Libre, I am not going to miss Bud Crawford. He's my favorite fighter of all time. Or I am going to miss Crawford, my favorite fighter of all time. Who do you think is going to take over? I think Devin Haney is going to take over. Look, you're going to see a few fighters positioning themselves for that #1 spot. You're going to see Devin Haney. You're going to see Shakur Stevenson. You're going to see Teofimo Lopez. You're going to see Jerome Bruce Ennis. You're going to see Bam Rodriguez. You're going to see Naoya Inoue. You're going to see a lot of fighters trying to position themselves for that spot. Right now, you got Shakur and Teo going to fight each other. That's going to get Shakur a little bit closer, or Teofimo a little bit closer to that main spot, whoever wins. But there's a few people that's going to be gunning for that top spot. Hakeem, who's Mayweather best win? How bad will Crawford do any of them? I mean, Mayweather got a lot of great wins. I think when you say best win, it all boils down to opinion. But Crawford's a great fighter. Crawford's a great fighter. Mayweather's a great fighter. I think it would have been a great fight, but I got Crawford winning that. Said Jammer, Mike is timeless. Mike is an icon. Mike is the fighter who retired so long ago, new boxing fans never watched him fight. So you got to understand, even people who never watched Mike Tyson fight because they was too young, they still love Mike Tyson. They still watch Mike Tyson. They'll talk about Mike Tyson. Mike is forever. Mike Tyson is like Michael Jordan. He's forever. He's never going to go away. Jeremiah, resume matters in a BET. Bro, we already said that resume. Like, why are you still on the resume? Yes, they matter. We agree. Paul Smith, Floyd done a lot. For which people? Please do a little research, man. You find out Floyd done a lot. Matter of fact, if you say for which people, please, look at how many people is employed by Floyd Mayweather. You don't think he's doing nothing by employing them? By giving them good jobs, by making them good money? You don't think there's a lot of people driving around in a Benz because they work for Floyd, or they got a nice home, they got a nice apartment? People who own their own business because they made money with Floyd? I don't know. I don't know. Do you want Floyd to fly with a helicopter above your block and throw stacks of money down or something? I don't know what you want. CER, Floyd has helped a lot of people in and out of boxing, of course. Of course. And the one thing I give him credit for, and I do like that, Floyd gives a lot of money, a lot of help, and doesn't say or post anything about it. Which is why people are able to say things like, Floyd done what for who? He ain't done nothing. Because he's not out there publicizing everything that he do for people. So I respect that about Floyd Mayweather. Dan says, Shakur has good defense. Good defense, if we take into account that right now Shakur is the fighter who gets hit the least in boxing, I would say good defense is a little bit of an understatement. Nobody in boxing gets hit less. So who has a better defense than Shakur Stevenson? If you're getting hit more per fight, per round. Nobody. So if you have if you take the least damage in boxing, then you're probably the greatest defensive fighter of this era. As opposed to good defense. Side. After Bud and Usyk retire, the top three will be Inoue, Shakur, and Bam. My peoples, welcome to another episode of Boxing for Breakfast, giving you a healthy dosage of sweet science early in the morning. I'm going to take a quick commercial break, 1 minute, and you know what it is. We talking boxing. Say what you got to say. Express yourself. I'll be right back, my peoples. My peoples. My peoples. Y'all already know what it is, man. Another episode of Boxing for Breakfast. Shout out to everybody tuning in this morning, talking that real boxing talk, man. Zest, Paul Smith, Connie, Sai, Denza, everybody in the building, CER, my peoples. Y'all know what it is, man. We talking this real boxing shit right here. Zest, the Mayweather Jr. Foundation, Paul Smith, Floyd started this Jake Paul bullshit, which is disrespectful foundational boxers. Paul Smith, you have an extremist point of view. And your extremist point of view is gonna keep you unhappy and frustrated. You're always gonna be frustrated. You don't realize it, but you're like an old dog who can't learn new tricks. So you're stuck on your old ways. You gotta get past it, my guy. That's it. Boxing will never be what it used to. You see how you say that Jake Paul started this Jake Paul bullshit? That Floyd started it? Floyd does not start it. Floyd is a great boxer. Floyd is a guy with an amateur pedigree, an Olympic medalist, one of the winningest fighters of all time. How would you say that Floyd Mayweather brought in a YouTuber? How could Floyd Mayweather bring in a YouTuber, a guy with no experience, and tell him become a big star in boxing? No, Floyd Mayweather got nothing to do with what Jake Paul was able to accomplish. Jake Paul was able to do that because he was smart enough to carve his own lane in boxing. But you know why Jake Paul was able to do that? Because he became a mega star on YouTube first. So he dragged his fan base to follow and support him in boxing. That don't got nothing to do with Floyd Mayweather. How the hell Floyd Mayweather helped Jake Paul? This guy came up in the Disney Channel. Then from the Disney Channel, he started boxing YouTubers. How the hell he learned that from Floyd? Floyd never was in the Disney Channel. Floyd never boxed YouTubers. Floyd never did any of that. How he get that from Floyd? So no, Jake Paul, very smart businessman, carved his own lane in boxing, got his own promotional company. We just got to accept it. The guy was smart. Paul Smith, Jake Paul fought another YouTuber, please. But what are you talking about? Jake Paul fought another YouTuber. Jake Paul's fighting Anthony Joshua next. What does that have to do with Floyd Mayweather? I don't understand that, bro. Denza, sorry, bro. Jake Paul is not a real boxer. His fights are staged. That's a nice little conspiracy theory. It's a nice little conspiracy. But do you think the fight was staged when he lost to Tommy Fury? You think he staged it so that he can lose to Tommy Fury? Come on now. No, but I'm asking you a question, Denza. Do you think Jake Paul staged the fight so that he can lose versus Tommy Fury? That's all I'm asking. See, that's the thing. If you fight somebody who's washed up, if you fight somebody who's not a boxer, you don't need to stage it, bro. You could beat their ass. Why stage a fight with people that you can beat? Like, look, man, if I find a non-boxer to fight me, I'm going to beat their ass. I don't have to stage it. I could beat their ass. That's it. You seen the Tyson fight, so yeah, stop the cap. But that's it. I'm just asking you a question that you seem to have a hard time answering. I'm just asking you, did Jake Paul stage the fight so he can lose to Tommy Fury? Is that what you believe? I'm just asking you a question that you seem to have a hard time answering. It's a simple question. Isaac, no way Jake can win, right? Some people say he can win. Sai, AJ putting Jake Paul to sleep. The Hydro Grind. The Tommy Fury fight was a real one. Exactly. Paul Smith, Jake Paul staged his fights. Denza, Tyson could have knocked him out and pulled back. And you never boxed a day in your life. I'm 100% sure you never boxed a day in your life. Yes, all his fights are set up. So he planned it to lose to Tommy Fury. Look, you're talking about the Tyson fight. You see how you're being specifically? I'm talking about the Fury fight. Can you address that one specifically? Are you saying he staged it so that Tommy Fury can beat him in a close fight? Young GOAT, prime Terence Crawford versus prime Mayweather. Who comes out victorious? I got Terence Crawford winning that fight. That's how I see it playing out. Gunner experience. I'm not a Jake Paul fan, but the guy's smart. He getting money. That's what everybody's doing. You got to respect him. He getting money. He getting money. Denza didn't see the Fury fight. You didn't have to see it. He lost. He lost the fight. And you're saying that all his fights are staged. So that was one of his fights. According to you, I'd like to know what you think. Was that fight staged? Or, you know, did he plan to lose that fight? Because that's what you said, that all of his fights are staged. So I'm just trying to figure out, what do you think? Did he plan it so he could lose to Tommy Fury? Jake, Tyson was the only one sketchy for real. The rest looked like Jake whipped them. I mean, he's fighting people that he can beat. Why would he even have to script anything with guys that he could beat? Denza, why the Davis fight didn't happen? So Denza, you decided that you're not going to answer directly about the question that I'm asking you? Okay, I don't got no more time for you, Denza. I gave you enough opportunities and you didn't take any of them. Welcome to the block party. Welcome to the block party. You could come back tomorrow after this 24 hours and be more direct when answering questions. Bam. He tried to answer it at the end when maybe Fury went off script. Take that 24-hour break and don't come back with dumb logic, because then tomorrow I'm going to have to block you. And I don't want to block you. But if you come back making dumb arguments and dumb logic and biting onto that dumb logic that you're going to repeat it, I'm going to have to block you. Don't be dumb tomorrow. The Hydrogram Superman, my guy in the building. Salute. Bam. Paul Smith, Tommy has fought who since? I don't know who Tommy fought. Tommy Fury's like, what, a B, C, D level fighter? Beat Jake Paul. But ever since then, Jake Paul has gotten a lot better. I'll give him credit for that. Queen, morning everyone, just tuning in. Salute family. Bam, we talking boxing. Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua going down tomorrow, my peoples. This is a Friday fight, not a Saturday fight. Don't get it twisted. Do not miss out. Gonna be a good one. And I just want to say this, my people. Look at AJ as a fighter. What have you seen about AJ to tell you that he's down with the goofballery? You don't see AJ, you know, getting in trouble in his personal life. You don't see him pulling out of fights. You don't see him down with no clown show type of stuff. Come on. AJ's a fighter who's always been about that smoke, win, lose, or draw. He's going in there to knock Jake Paul out. Quick, I'll watch, real or not. We all got to be watching. I know some people like the conspiracies and they like to make shit up out of thin air. They already decided, oh no, this is going to be fake. People love a conspiracy. They watch a lot of movies and they like it to be real interesting. They can't just accept the facts of what we're going to see. They need a little side story to it. And that's how they do it with conspiracies. MS, salute. I'm hearing some goofy shit being said about Buzz retirement from some of the top YouTube channels. Talking about he retired because Victor Conti died and Bud is hiding snack secrets. Come on. You know how it is. That's why we're headed to #1. People are going to start seeing who's spreading fake narratives. Who's spreading bullshit? Who's out there just making stuff up because they don't like a fighter? They're going to understand that little by little. And who's out here actually talking about boxing. Talking about what's actually happening. And little by little, they're going to be weeded out. They're going to be the YouTube channels for the casual fans. They're going to be the YouTube channels for the people who don't know shit about boxing. They're going to be the YouTube channels for the narrative spreaders. Paul, Jake Paul did better against who? An AJ fight is also got some kind of clause. AJ fight got some kind of clause. How do you come up with that? Are you making stuff up out of thin air too? Got some kind of clause? How you come up with that, bro? Jake Paul did better against who? An AJ fight is also got some kind of clause. Now think about it. You're not saying I think it has some clause. You're saying it has some clause. You're a narrative spreader, Paul. You're a narrative spreader. Take a 24-hour break, come back tomorrow, don't spread no fake narratives. We not about fake narratives over here. You in the wrong channel, fam. Go to them other YouTube channels where they spread fake news and do that shit over there. The hide your grind. I heard Crawford is working with Dana for the TKO League. There's all sorts of theories out there. I mean, of course, people will make stuff up out of thin air when they don't like somebody. And to hide your grind, you know you had Canelo beating Crawford by knockout. So, of course, you got to bring in the fake theories that people floating around. I heard it. But here you are spreading it too. That's what y'all do, bro. Why you didn't hear about, why you don't bring up, yo, I heard Crawford made $100 million. I heard Crawford got mad properties in Omaha, Nebraska. I heard Crawford getting all type of endorsement deals. No, you're hearing theories about Crawford working for Dana and working for other people. Those are the things you're hearing about, and you're going around spreading on social media to hide your grind. But I told you before, man, you got elite level mental gymnastics. You spread shit by acting like you're not trying to spread it, by acting like you heard. I heard that Terence Crawford is. I like the way that you do. At least you don't straight up hate on Terence Crawford. You always got the sneak hate. I like that. I respect that, to hide your grind. Not the straightforward hate. My peoples, even Deontay Wilder believes that AJ versus Jake Paul is scripted. He believes it. He believes it. Big Ali, 1976. Good morning from Nova Scotia, Canada. Love your channel and love the sweet science. Salute, my brother. If you love the sweet science, this is where it's at. Boxing for breakfast, Box Center. By the way, Big Ali, subscribe to Box Center 2.0. I'm going to share the link with you guys because in that channel, I'm only dropping exclusive content. What does that mean? Simple. The things that you see on this channel, some of it will turn up on my Facebook, will turn up on my Instagram, but everything that's on Box Center 2.0 only gets posted on Box Center 2.0. So you will never see it anywhere else. There's already, probably over 20 videos on there. And Goofiest of the Oofiest, the podcast that only airs on Box Center 2.0. Mondays at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Brother, you got to catch Goofiest of the Oofiest, which, by the way, my peoples, there's always a hotline or a link. You guys can go on the live and share your point of view, share your perspective. Yo, you got to check out Goofiest of the Oofiest, my peoples. But I'm about to share this link right now with you guys for Box Center 2.0. Make sure you subscribe and enjoy that fire content, my peoples. There you have it right there, Box Center 2.0. And appreciate the support from everybody tuning in. Gunner Experience, to give credit where credit is due. Jake, they bring a new fan base of millions to boxing. So I give them credit for that, but I kind of have to take a little bit of that credit away, Gunner Experience, and I'm going to tell you why. And I've seen this before, and we're going to see it with Jake Paul. You see all those fans that you say he brings to boxing? When Jake Paul leaves, he taking them with him. A lot of those people, they not boxing fans, and they not going to turn into boxing fans. They here for the Jake Paul circus show. So when Jake Paul goes that way, they go that way with him. They not supporting boxing as a whole. They supporting Jake Paul. The YouTube community, they not all boxing fans. So that's why you're going to see Jake Paul could pull in 40 million views, but then the other MVP fighters or the other boxers, they not pulling in those type of views. They not getting that type of support unless they getting it from him directly. He's supporting him. But his community, they supporting him. They not supporting everybody that he's putting on. A lot of them is not boxing fans. They Jake Paul fans. So, but you still got to give him credit because he's bringing a lot of attention to boxing. He's bringing money to boxing. And most importantly, as a promoter, he's getting the women paid. A lot of women are getting career paydays. You got to give him credit for that. Salute to Jake Paul. Bam. Shaku hands. We will be back on Goofiest of the Oofiest. Hell yeah, Monday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Jose Cole, haven't we seen AJ go down questionably a couple of times? Go down questionably versus who he went down questionably? Tell me that. Versus who did he go down questionably? Against a world caliber fighter? Because if you're going to question you're going to say he went down questionably versus a world caliber fighter, can you compare the people he went down to Jake Paul, who's never fought for a title in his life, never fought a 10-rounder in his life? So, you can't really compare the people that dropped AJ with Jake Paul. That's going to be a tough comparison to make. But I'll say, man, look, a lot of people think that this fight is going to be scripted. It's tomorrow. I keep reminding you guys, this is not a Saturday fight. It's a Friday fight, an 8-rounder, 10-ounce gloves. And I see, unfortunately, I see Jake Paul going to sleep in brutal fashion. Unless the referee or his corner save him. They're going to have to save him. If they don't save him, Anthony Joshua's going in there with real bad intentions. Underrated Will, good morning, my brother. Bam, appreciate you dropping in. Y'all know what it is, my peoples. We talking boxing. Jay Smith in the building. This is Boxing for Breakfast. Those of you eating your breakfast, enjoy it. If you're driving to work, drive safe. Take it easy. Don't be driving too fast and too crazy. Don't be wilding out. That's all I'm saying. This fight right here, my peoples, honestly, I'm super interested in finally seeing Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua make it happen. Underrated Will, make it mine now. Enjoy it. Enjoy your breakfast, my brother, no doubt. That's what we here for. You get to enjoy breakfast, listening to and talking about boxing. It don't get no better. It don't get no better, ladies and gentlemen. By the way, check out that live from yesterday. You guys seen how that narrative has been lately? Can't beat Tio. Can't beat Tio. They want to hate on Teofimo Lopez and say, keep bringing up that Kambosos beat him. Yesterday, I was watching this fight. Watched this fight live yesterday. Ooh, that uppercut landed right in Teofimo's nose piece. I was watching Teofimo versus Kambosos yesterday night, and I was calling it, doing live commentary for the fight. And one thing that watching the fight again reminded me is how good of a fight it was and how competitive of a fight it was. Teofimo decided to just go to war with Kambosos and trade leather, and it was a very entertaining fight to watch. Very close fight. A lot of swing rounds that could have went either way. Ultimately, Kambosos won by split decision. This was a great fight. People talk about it like Teofimo got washed, like he lost to a nobody. Like, Kambosos is a good fighter. Went the distance and edged out a victory versus Teofimo Lopez. But this is nothing to be ashamed of. This is nothing to, if you're going to use this one fight to measure Teofimo Lopez's career, either you don't like him or you don't know shit about boxing. This dude is a great fighter. It's dumb to keep bringing up. Kambosos beat him. Kambosos beat him. Okay. Do we really want to go down the history all-time greats and see how many people got beat and how many times they got beat and how many people went to sleep? They all no good. So that narrative about Kambosos, I made that clear. The only reason people saying that is because they're already setting up to diminish Shakur's win. They think, damn, if Shakur win, we need to already start discrediting Tio. That way, we'll be able to say, yeah, but can't beat him, can't beat him. Shakur's not the only one. Already looking for a narrative to discredit Teofimo's possible win. They already see Teofimo winning. So they're like, yo, we got to discredit Tio. I mean, they already see Shakur winning. So they're like, yo, we got to discredit Tio. We got to make sure that this win is not so big. Gabe Rivera, Kambosos has one win since the Tio win. Who's trying to keep Kambosos relevant? You should be ashamed. No, they not really trying to keep Kambosos relevant. What they trying to make it seem is like Tio lost to a guy that's not all that. So that means that Tio's not all of that. So Shakur's win is not really going to be all that. That's what they're doing. The people who don't know shit about boxing, they connect all these crazy dots with each other. So in their head, it makes perfect sense. Like, yo, if Kambosos beat Tio, Tio's not that good, then we can argue that Shakur's win is not going to be that good over Teofimo. That dumb shit. But I will say, Teofimo Lopez, if you look at the resume, look, we were just talking about resumes early. People bring up resumes whenever they feel like it. If you look at the resume, Teofimo Lopez is obviously one of the greatest fighters of this era. Hakeem, Teofimo is the front runner of this generation. I would say that's a matter of opinion, but he's definitely not the front runner. You'll see what happened after he lost. You'll see what happened after he lost. All people talk about is that Cam beat Tio. So he's not the front runner. I would say Devin Haney's ahead of him. Boots is ahead of him. But I'm not going to put Boots ahead of him because Boots is not accomplished like he is. So I would say Devin Haney's ahead of him and Shakur Stevenson is ahead of him because they're both undefeated fighters. And we live in an era, if you're not undefeated, people are going to say you got exposed. People are going to say you a hype job. People are going to say... So there's already a narrative about Teofimo out there because he already lost. That's it. You cooked, you lost. The next one, the runner-up is going to be somebody who's undefeated. Teofimo's out of that already. Hakeem, I disagree. Loma Taylor, 2 division. I don't know what you're disagreeing with, though. I don't know. When he said that Kambosos only got 1 win, he's talking about Kambosos winning and then losing. He's not talking about Teofimo. But I don't see Teofimo as the guy because it's like I told you, look at the era, look at the social media era that we're living in. Once you take a loss, that's it. You're not going to be the guy. Fans want guys to be undefeated. You don't see earlier, I asked the guy, who's your favorite fighters? Right away, he mentioned 3 undefeated fighters, the top 3 on the pound-for-pound list. Oh, yeah, Usyk, Inoue, and that's it. So you're not going to be the next face of boxing if you got this L on your record. Unless Teofimo goes on a crazy run where he beat Shakur, beat Devin, and beat everybody, then okay. But right now, he's not the runner-up. I mean, his accolades are cut above. Not even the accolades, because it depends how you measure them. Listen, let me say this. Shakur Stevenson, because I don't want you to think I'm contradicting that. Shakur Stevenson is a great fighter. Teofimo Lopez is, without a doubt, one of the most accomplished young fighters of this era. But you have to look at what are the accomplishments that you value so you kind of set your own bar. Because if I tell you, well, Devin Haney is the youngest undisputed champion in history, well, Teofimo's never been undisputed. So if I value that more, then I'm going to make an argument that Teofimo's better. All for that. Shakur Stevenson is a 3-division champion. Is he a 3 or a 4? Shakur Stevenson is a 3-division champion. So if I value the divisions more, I could say, no, he's been. So it's really a matter of opinion. They're all up there. They're all accomplishing. Teofimo, Shakur, Devin, they're all accomplishing. We're going to see Boots accomplishing as well. But right now, out of that group, Teofimo's the only guy with that loss in his record. And that influences what fans have to say about him and how they react. Point fire. YouTubers and influencers are making a shit show out of boxing. How many overlooked prospects do to this? Boxing or pantomime? Well, you have to understand, bro. Prospects, when you bring up prospects, they've never gotten attention in history. Unless you're like a big star, like something like that. But when you say YouTubers and influencers are overlooking, you're not talking facts. Right there, you venting. I would call that venting. Why? I've been following boxing for over 30 years. Bro, they wasn't showing on TV no prospects. In the 80s, in the 90s, in the 2000s, prospects have never got that run, that love on TV like that, bro. Unless, like, look, Kermel Moulton, who's, somebody coming up on the Floyd Mayweather, and we know he's going to be a big star. Abdullah Mason. But prospects never got that run. So you putting that on YouTubers and influencers, that's not correct. That's never been the case. You can't tell me in any era where they were giving a lot of spotlight, a lot of shine to the prospects. Because a prospect, what they got to do? They got to prove themselves. They got to fight the lower level opponents. They got to fight in the small venues. And guess what? In those small venues where they fight, there's not a lot of cameras. There's not a lot of people there. There's not a lot of people tracking what they're doing. You got to earn that. It's always been the case. That's not just now. Hakeem, I don't get on that undefeated narrative personally. Not me neither. Me neither. I still support fighters. That's why I give a lot of credit to UK fans. Because UK fans, look at Chisora, look at Parker, look at all these guys from the UK who took multiple losses and they still get mad love from the fans. You still see them selling out fights. You still see the fans on social media fighting for them. U.S. fighters, you take a loss, you a hype job, you a bomb. He's not that good. He got exposed. That's just the way it is. DJ Rick, Wild Court is on the pound-for-pound list with his weak resume. Tio got better resume than Court, better wins. He don't got a weak resume, though. You might not like him, but he don't got a weak resume. Shakur actually has a great resume. Let me rephrase that. I don't want to say great resume. He has a very good resume. Shakur's been fighting highly ranked opponents for the last 5-6 years. Either champions, former champions, or highly ranked opponents. So the notion that he don't got a good resume, that's people who either don't like Shakur or don't understand the sport of boxing. I could teach you. I can help you understand it. Subscribe. Tune in. And I'll teach you that Shakur has a top-notch resume. It's just that people don't know shit about boxing. Like, I'll give you an example. Shakur beat Conceição. People say, oh, that's nothing. The guy's an Olympic medalist. Shakur has been multiple Olympic medalists. So if you don't know shit about boxing, you might think, oh, he's beating nobody. But no, that's not true. That's a super fake narrative that followed Terence Crawford. Supposedly, Terence Crawford wasn't beating nobody either. You remember that? That narrative? You don't get to the #1 pound-for-pound spot in the world without beating anybody. So it's just a fake narrative that people start believing. People start thinking that it's true. But it's not true. No, look, you're saying that Tio has a better resume. I'm not disputing that. Because remember, it's going to be about opinion. So if you believe that, I respect that opinion. But when you say, I want you to think about this. When you say that Shakur has a weak resume, that's not true at all. And I'm going to show you. I'm not just going to tell you. I'm going to show you. I'm going to go, watch this. Watch this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fights back, 7 fights back, 8 fights back, right? I'm going to go 8 fights back on Shakur Stevens' resume, right? Fight number 8, Jamel Herring. Jamel Herring was a world champion with 1 loss. That's the only guy to beat Lamont Roach. The 1 loss that Lamont Roach got on his resume, it was to Jamel Herring. Shakur Stevenson stopped Jamel Herring. Remember, the only guy to beat Lamont Roach is Jamel Herring. Shakur pummeled him and stopped him. You think Jamel Herring is a weak win for his resume? I want you to really think about that. This is a world champion. He's weak? Next, after Jamel Herring, Oscar Valdez, undefeated champion. 30-0. High knockout percentage. Shakur beat him. You think that's a weak win for his resume? Right after that, Robson Conceição, 17-1. Olympic bronze or silver medalist, I don't remember. Became a world champion after that.